Hey guys, what's up? Calypso here. Apologies in advance for this week's episode of Deadhaus Whispers. Me and Mike tried to do something a little bit different with our video. That failed miserably, and we will try getting it sorted out for next week's episode. But for now, Deadhaus Whispers is back. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is just a Talking Heads video or a listening video. If you guys have YouTube Premium, you can shrink it on your phone and just listen to it. Or you shrink your desktop and mess around with whatever the hell else you're doing on your computer and listen to it that way. I did edit the video with some really pretty Deadhaus images for some visual flair. And of course, I throw in some images of the things we are talking about that are relevant throughout this video per podcast episode. Links for everything I talk about will be down below. As usual, of course, you can check out Deadhaus Sonata by going to deadhaussonata.com, checking out the Discord, the forums, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Reddit, the YouTube, everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Fight the living, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next one.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood.
Ah, yes. Welcome to Deadhaus Whispers.
And we have risen again for season three, I think. And
we're on season three already.
Three now. And of course, joining me like always is Faceless Mike.
Yo.
And I hope everyone is well. And now we're back. Deadhaus Whispers is back.
We're back, baby.
Yeah.
And we have so much to discuss, so much to look forward to. But before that, we have to get to the shilling. Don't forget, for everyone, check out Deadhaus Sonata. It is going to be a free-to-play ARPG that is very gothic and Lovecraftian, brought to you by the mind of Legacy of Kain and Eternal Darkness. You want to check it out at www.deadhaussonata.com. Check out our Twitters, check out our Instagrams, check on Facebook, check on Reddit. There's even stuff on Spotify.
Yes, there is.
So you might want to go there. And just some badass merch. For anyone that can't see it, I'm wearing a kick-ass hoodie. Calypso is wearing an even more kick-ass t-shirt that is no longer available. Maybe in the future, we'll see. Maybe it might be a special for the launch. We'll see. Yep. But there's some awesome merch. I can't even show you, but I have a really badass desk mat. I've got the red lady before me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his background. Mike's background is actually
That's my desk mat, and it's taking up the whole desk. They are awesome.
Yep. You can find all that stuff on Streamlabs and the bulb.
If you go to deadhaussonata.com, it's linked under
merch store.
The merch section.
Yeah, we got all
Which,
that.
By the way, while we're plugging that, the website has been updated. There is a better merch section, a better store section, and Calypso, I don't know if you've noticed or not, if you go to the Explore, you'll notice there is a librarium.
A librarium? I don't even know what that is.
A librarium.
Oh.
Like a library. You'll notice we now have a bookshelf.
Yes, I have to check that out.
Books.
That sounds amazing.
It's where all the lore is now held. So we've got the Necro on there. We've got the Chronicles of Alaric von Bella. And we've got Tales from the House, which are the community submissions, which I think you wanted to talk about, didn't you?
Yes, I did actually. So as you know, Deadhaus is a community-driven project in a sense. There is World Anvil, which is the community world building software and everything like that going into Deadhaus. They're using that for archiving, for lore submissions, all that stuff. And of course, you can write everything in. You can do your own world building, character building on World Anvil, submit all that stuff, and then it may or may not end up becoming canon within the official Deadhaus lore. And recently, there's been a couple of community submissions turned into podcast form, obviously on the Deadhaus Spotify and Amazon playlist, all that stuff. It's everywhere, Apple Store. And there's two of them so far that I know of anyway, at least last time I checked. And there is the account of Leopold Narrett that was...
Which may have a familiar voice.
Yep, that was it was written by Darula, and it stars Big Hattie, Shiny Bree, Faceless Mike naturally, and Golden Zan.
Not naturally. That was my most unnatural performance ever.
His most unnatural performance ever. There's that.
I think the only time I've ever been worse than that was trying to fake getting out of school sick at one point. The other guys did a great job, though. I tried not to have.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's really long. It's very Lovecraftian. It's very journal entry. It has a bit of an Eternal Darkness feeling to it.
Darula done a really good job.
Yeah, he did. Darula did a great job. It's really good. You can listen to that, of course, on the Deadhaus Spotify and Amazon and everything. And then, of course, the next one is...
And if you can't find those, by the way, you can also find them on the website. All you need to do is go to the Explore and the Media section. It's got a list so you can listen to them on your PC, just for any of those that aren't savvy enough to grab a Spotify or don't like smartphones.
Yep. And then there is the Ancient Tablet, written by Temuljan. Temuljan, written by him, and I believe Bishop, RX Bishop, is the one reading it, if I recall correctly. Really, that one's also really good. Very has that Alaric von Beller podcast episode feeling to that. I think that's what he was going for when writing it. That's good also. Bishop does a pretty good job at reading it and acting it out and everything. Follows one of the scribes or preachers or whatever of the human
I think he was another one of the Inquisitors.
One of them.
He's just not the Grand Inquisitor. I think he's just another Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which, when you get into the lore, you'll know there was quite a few.
It's really, really cool. Really cool. Yeah. So that's community stuff. Like, feel free to write your own stuff in, guys. It's encouraged amongst all the community. You can find us all on Discord and everything also. Part of the Deadhaus Discord.
Join the Discord and join in the discussion, because as Calypso was saying here, like... This began with wanting the community to get involved. This started with Denis and the whole Apocalypse crew asking the community what they liked and didn't like in the game, what they would like added to it. This spawned into World Anvil and asking people to write stuff. What do you think would be really cool to write? If you were writing fan fiction / lore for the game, what would you write? People came up with some great ideas, and those ended up getting turned into radio plays that were voice acted by the community, done by Apocalypse. So really cool. Where do you get that in a video game? Like, how often do you get that kind of community interaction? You know?
Almost never.
Like, it was an incredible bit. And I'm just really liking the website. I have it up on my other screen here, and it's just the librarium's nice and flashing.
That's really cool. I definitely got to check that out.
That's what I like. So
when I get on it.
Calypso, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Apocalypse gave the community a little gift.
Oh, they did?
Christmas.
What was it?
I believe you might be familiar with it. It was a particular download.
Oh, a download, you say?
It was an O3DE tech demo.
Ooh, a tech demo on the O3D engine. Merry Christmas. Yes, there was a tech demo released, guys. The O3DE tech demo for Deadhaus. It is just a tech demo.
Easy to remember is Open 3D engine.
It is just a tech demo. It's pretty it's very basic with everything because it is just a tech demo, but the fact
it's just to show off the engine, basically.
The fact that it's just that they released it and it looks pretty good for what is out there right now. The lighting is really nice. The cloth fabric is really nice. There's even the making of it is on the official Deadhaus YouTube, where Denis himself goes over the technology behind it, what they did to create it in such a short amount of time, just everything that will be going into Deadhaus in the future, as well as a very early look of what the visuals could possibly be. They're really good visuals, by the way. I think the vampire you're playing is Zoran, one of the leads. He is probably just placeholder, I think. But it's
that's just placeholder for now, because like you couldn't put in the character creator just for a tech demo. You know?
Yeah. So, but Zoran looks really nice, and the lighting looks really nice. Like everything is pretty spot on for just a tech demo. Obviously, it's not the best thing ever, but it's there.
Maybe when this goes up, Calypso could show us a little bit of video.
Yeah.
You show us a little bit of video as this is talking.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know you played it. I know you put up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally played the demo. You can follow that demo and look at my gameplay on my YouTube channel.
Don't look at mine. It was appalling.
I think you tried to stream it, right? You tried to stream it once or twice.
Oh no, I did. I did stream it, and I still currently hold the record for getting up to wave 18.
Oh man, I didn't even get it. I think I got up to maybe 4 or 5. It is.
I created a wave counter. I programmed my own little wave counter to put on my stream just so that I could keep track, because Temujin, who wrote the Ancient Tablet, kept goading me while I was streaming it live, saying it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool. You got to wave like 12, but like I got to wave 14. And he kept doing that until he said the highest I've ever gotten is like wave 17. And I made a principled point to get to a bit further. But I done it, yeah.
That's cool.
People have probably got further than that now, though.
Oh yeah, probably. I only got to like wave 3 or 4. I died really quickly. It is a wave-based thing.
Legionnaires ain't kidding. Them Legionnaires ain't kidding.
Oh yeah, no, they don't mess around. So the tech demo, guys, it's horde mode based, sort of, I guess. Every time you kill someone, more people spawn until it just gets more and more and more and more, until you probably have like hundreds of dudes on screen or something, and you're taking them down. So it's become a little challenge among the community of how long can you last, as Mike was saying. And yeah, so I have a challenge for all you guys out there listening on Spotify, or watching this up on YouTube. Download the demo. You can find it on the Deadhaus forum, and see how far you can get. Record yourselves, upload it, put in a number. It'll be a little challenge counter for everybody to try to beat your score of how far you can get within the demo. So far, I only lasted 5 minutes.
There is a bit of a limit, because I do know some people are having difficulties with the tech demo. It's because there is a particularly high barrier on it. I think the minimum is like a 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
There's particular requirements, but worry not, friends, for I have beans. Those in the community know what I'm on about. That was the O3DE tech demo. Soon you'll all bear witness to the Deadhaus Sonata demo. Can't reveal much, but soon.
I didn't even know.
And there's been a lot of upgrades. Actually, you might be able to see some of the upgrades, because we'll get to that a little bit later, but there was a particular poll that Calypso will get back to after that, which shows a screenshot from said demo.
Yes,
but before we get to that, now that I've told you there's a new demo coming, and we're looking to the future of Deadhaus, I wanted to ask Calypso a question. I've been bothering people in my Discord with this question, and it's one about gaming, which when I was discussing Deadhaus with some of the guys, it came up. Do you need to finish a game for it to be your favorite game?
That's a good question. I know many people who have not finished Skyrim, and it is their favorite game.
I don't think I've even come close to finishing Skyrim. I played a lot of it, but yeah, not even close.
I still haven't finished Skyrim. It's been, 10 years. I haven't finished Skyrim. That's a really good question. Do you need to finish a game in order for it to be your favorite game? I definitely think it helps, because there is depending on how the story is, like, does the ending really hit you in a certain way? Is it the gameplay that really strikes you? All those little minor questions that can be
Everyone in my Discord was divided on it. It was divided. Half were like, no, you don't, because if you like the game and the gameplay mechanics and all, it is. And the other one's like, no, exactly what you said. You need to finish the story, because what happens if it turns out crap in the end? What if you have a brutal legend scenario where you think you're playing a really funny action-adventure game that turns into an RTS halfway through for reasons? But that was spurred by the idea of, in that case, many people will never be able to say Deadhaus is their favorite game, because if you have to finish it, like, this is going to be a long running thing. But by the same logic, an MMO could never be your favorite game then, because you can't finish it.
Good. You make a good point. Okay, well there's the crux of the situation is MMOs. Are they your favorite games? You can't really finish an MMO. It just goes on forever. Deadhaus, has a long plan. Eventually,
it's not an MMO per se. Like, it's not going to be an MMO, but it's an ARPG in the realms of like Warframe. So there is a story. It will happen over time, and it's an ARPG, like in that sense. So Warframe, what would you call something like Warframe? And think it would be like an MMO light? That doesn't seem to do it justice. What way would we call that?
Warframe, I would
like
call
Warframe
it,
and Destiny 2.
Yeah, Destiny 2, I feel that's really difficult because there's a weird definition now with like MMOs. It's, massively multiplayer online games, right? With Warframe, you basically can join and invite and run into hundreds and hundreds of players. Is Warframe an MMO in the traditional sense, or is it like an action RPG MMO hybrid? And Destiny 2, same thing. It's like it has the MMO like characteristics, but is Destiny 2 an MMO? World of Warcraft is what I consider an MMO. Like, you are in an open world, anybody can drop in and drop out whenever you want to. With Warframe, I think it's only hub levels. Like, there's hub worlds that you can go to and people are there, but otherwise
they're like relay stations.
Unless you invite people in or whatever.
But even those, like, not everyone will appear on your one. So when you go to them, they're all server / instance based,
So with Warcraft, I think it's like a universal, like they have a couple of universal servers where hundreds and hundreds of people are playing
like
online.
for WoW and other MMOs,
world.
one of the first things you do when you start a game is you pick a server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think the phrase MMO, or as in MMORPG, has almost become redundant. I think it needs to change and evolve with the time, because like games like World of Warcraft are MMORPGs, but games we have now, they are, but they're not. Like, you take a look at, let's take Among Us. That's a completely different thing. But that is an online game. That's very much an online game. I think these need to change to be something like, instead of being MMORPGs, it's an ORPG or an OARPG, like an online action role-playing game, an online strategy game.
I think there is definitely, that's something else. I'll say that there is a separation. There is a clear separation between what is an MMO and what isn't an MMO. You could say that MMOs are, you have a player base of 1,000 people, okay? And those 1,000 people can constantly merge and run into each other. It's like if you're playing Skyrim online, and you're in that
or
open
Elder
world,
Scrolls Online.
Or Elder Scrolls Online. I forgot there actually is an Elder Scrolls Online for a second. So you're playing the Elder Scrolls Online, and you have millions of people you can run into. With Deadhaus, with Warframe, with Destiny 2, it's not open-ended like that. You can't run into Bob, Bill, or John, or whatever when you're playing. You have to specifically invite them to your party, which separates that massively multiplayer. Anybody is always running around no matter what you're doing. Like, I think that's what separates it from an MMO. Like, you can, of course, invite them to little hub areas and your ships or whatever if you're playing Warframe or something. That's where I think the MMO thing comes from, where you can kind of like say it's an MMO, but at the same time it separates itself by having that independence of, you're not dependent on the hundreds and thousands of people that are just in your face all the time.
Because this is from a new ecosystem. So the idea behind an MMO, these came from back in the PC days where everyone would connect to a major server. And then couch co-op was obviously what it was. It was your friends. And then as consoles began to come online and PCs became more like user-friendly and had a wider base of people, you could only play with your friends that you knew, because there was a lot of whole TCP IP connection issues, or maybe you needed to have someone's friend code in games. There was things like that. But from the new age of consoles where everything is persistently online, you can kind of, instead of inviting your friends to the game, you will make friends in the game. These would be people you might never have met, but you game with them every Saturday evening. There's like 3 other dudes that you dungeon run with, or you go on expeditions, or whatever particular game you're playing. You might have met, but you will play with in this game, because like Warframe, for example, a great example, it will team you up with people randomly if you want. You know?
That gets me thinking. EverQuest was a really popular MMO back in the day.
You're digging back now, Calypso.
I am digging way back. EverQuest was a really popular MMO. Man, so, okay, hold on. Sidetracking for a minute. You remember when there were a bunch of MMOs that when World of Warcraft first started, and all these other MMOs were like before World of Warcraft. Yeah, and
Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah, Star Wars Galaxies. Gosh.
Meridian 59. Everything wanted to be.
Arcane something or other was another one. But like they all lived side by side in an online ecosystem, and there was no World of Warcraft killer. It was all, they were just living in the same space. I digress. But that gets me thinking that EverQuest tried to release a PS2 version of it, I think. I don't remember if it got canceled or not, or if it even got off the ground.
No, I'm fairly certain I've seen that cover in a shop.
Yeah, there was an EverQuest, like they actually got it to consoles, and you could, play EverQuest online with console players, and I think they did the weird, you could maybe play it with PC players at the same time. It was like revolutionary, but you had to have a LAN connection or something. Anyways, gets me thinking that were competitive online games, are those MMOs in a sense? Is like Valorant an MMO? Is Overwatch an MMO? Even though they're not traditional MMO style like Warcraft or other ones, they're just competitive games, but you're playing with hundreds upon thousands of people online at the exact same time that you occasionally get matched up with. So
it's weird where the niche
what really defines an MMO now? I think the only thing that really defines an MMO is it like
the
World
RPG
of Warcraft
part.
And is it open world? I think that really that's the thing that really defines MMOs. Is it an open world or is it a hub base? And I think if you have an open world like Elder Scrolls or Warcraft, then you're an MMO. If you have a closed off world that's based off in sections and hubs, you're not really an MMO. You're an action RPG with MMO elements.
That's where the MMO light comes in. But we're like, gaming is transforming. I'll give you an example. One of my favorite consoles of all time was the Dreamcast.
I love the Dreamcast.
Fantastic console.
Rest in peace.
Oh, it was such a sin that fell victim to all the wrong things that could have happened between the Saturn, being rushed out, being bad taste in people's mouths, all of that. It was also ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time. If it would have held off, or maybe even waited until the PS2 came out, released a couple of years after the PS2, I think it would have been a contender. But unfortunately, PlayStation 2 came out, made its numbers, obviously, and then Microsoft just stepped in and decided to, play its hand. Oh, man.
But my point being, they had a game on that I loved playing, Phantasy Star Online, which was very similar to an MMO, but not really. But exactly what you described, Calypso. It was a server-based, instance-based scenario, and I had great fun with that. That was the beginnings of like MMOs for me on the console side, because I tried stuff on PC at the beginning, but crappy internet connection, bad computers hampered a lot of efforts for many, many years.
Yep.
But like this gave it into the hands of everyone. And that's the beginnings of the online gaming sphere. It became a real revolution because, whether you love them or hate them, Microsoft with the Xbox pretty much single-handedly revolutionized the whole gaming online bit. Their infrastructure was fantastic. They made it easy to understand and for everyone to be able to jump on board with Xbox Live. Yeah. Fast forward to now, we're in a transition period where your console is now irrelevant. From third-party developers, you will join a game like Dauntless, Fortnite, not Warframe, but Warframe are implementing it. There's a lot of other games where it doesn't matter where you're playing it. As long as you're playing it, you can play on mobile, PC, all the consoles, and they will all come together. You will still be playing the same game with whoever you want to play with on whatever platform you choose to have or that you're able to have.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome. Like the coming about of crossplay is totally revolutionary. What's funny is I think this is something they've been trying to implement for years now. Only the technology has finally caught up where it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, God, I remember playing like old Quake, like just playing Quake and stuff back in the day online or whatever was fucking revolutionary, and playing it stably, even more revolutionary.
Oh yeah.
And
you're going back to the days when I used to try to work out to organize playing Duke Nukem 3D with people and just trying to set that up from a text perspective.
Yeah.
Tech perspective was a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And like we're at that point now where it's not even a thought. It's not even a thought. It's not a struggle. You don't have to do nothing. You just need to have a Wi-Fi connection.
If me and you want a game, I don't even have to have any direct connection to you. Like, hey, boot up this and add me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that's it.
You can be playing on PS5 or whatever, or PS4 or Xbox, and I can be playing on PC and vice versa. Like, that's insane. And that you know, there's, I think it might be a Neverwinter Nights. There's a Neverwinter Nights online or something.
That rings a bell.
A new version of it, or I guess that is crossplay, I believe, and it is an MMO. You know, and I can play on PC, and
I think it's just called Neverwinter.
I think it is just called Neverwinter.
Yeah.
So like,
because I know I've seen that on the Xbox.
Yeah, store. But the fact that, you know, like you said, Warframe is trying to implement this with crossplay or whatever. That's the coolest
thing. They teased a thing on a dev stream like late last year where they showed when they were talking about the new expansion for the new war, which recently came out, and then how they got a lot of the guys like Steve and a lot of the ones to do the stream, and one was on mobile and one was on Xbox and one was on Switch and all like that, and they all showed up into the same place. Play together, and they're like, yeah, we're working on it. I know you've all asked for it. We're working on it. Now, they've got a bigger hurdle because their game wasn't designed like that.
Yeah.
So the back-end systems to be able to like get that up and running stably in a proper environment will be phenomenal, because they're bringing in the cross-play and cross-save, which is fantastic, because I think more games need that. And funny, even before they'd implemented that was one of the things Denis had announced, which was going to be the big draw for Deadhaus.
Yeah. Like,
that's going to be the primary thing of Deadhaus, that it'll be leading on PC and then coming to all major platforms, but you will have cross-save and cross-play. So you'll be able to play with any of your friends whenever you want. It's not a case of, oh, have you got this on PlayStation? Have you got this on Xbox? Just, hey, do you play Deadhaus?
Hop in. That's wiped from the gaming space. There's totally a time where exclusives aren't even exclusive anymore, and I think that's apart from getting a bunch of, you know, angry console plebs. I play console too, guys, no worries.
Look, I'm a hardcore console player, but I think Bloodborne should be on PC.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
I'm a big advocate for Bloodborne on PC. More people need to be able to play that game. Like,
yeah, I need to play it. I haven't played it. I mean, just because PlayStation 3 has finally been like possibly emulated, and same thing with PS4, and they're working on emulation for it, doesn't excuse
4 will be easier. The 3, they just done it awkwardly.
Yeah, no.
Whatever architecture was designed, that was designed to be a pain in the backside. PS3
was ahead of its time architecturally and internally, but that's a story for another podcast, maybe. Like the fact that console exclusives don't really exist anymore, that the big companies are finally getting their heads out of their asses to, you know, realize that there is a market within the PC space, console space, handheld space, mobile space is, you know,
and if you're an online game and you have yours on multiple platforms, that means your audience will take longer to dwindle and your game won't die as fast.
Yes. I can play it on my PC, on my PS4, on my PS5, on my Switch, on my Steam Deck. That's eventually happening whenever that happens. On my phone. The fact that mobile gaming, I know everyone cries at the whole mobile gaming thing, because a lot of the space is, you know, casual gamer stuff, but the fact that they are building specific phones for mobile gaming, that it has become such a large platform, and that games like Genshin Impact are on mobile and they're just as stable and they work just as well on PC. Yeah, crazy.
I downloaded that, and there was a friend, Scara, who got me to try play Genshin Impact on PC. I seen it was on mobile. I'm like, hey, I'm going to download this to see what this is like. Is it like a card game add-on? What is it? Oh, no, it's the full game. I'm like, that can't be possible. Took ages to download. But once you got it downloaded, I just logged into my account and I was in the exact same spot I was on where I logged out on PC. And I could go around and do everything. And I don't know what black magic those guys performed to do that, but it was 1-to-1. Perfect.
Yeah, and I think that's why I love Denis so much sometimes, because he really does think about the future of technology. Seeing as how I think he has freaking degrees and stuff in that kind of stuff anyway.
Yep.
And the whole thing is like the tech world grows so quickly. There's a joke to where once you buy a new product, it's already outdated.
And then once you get your graphics cards out of date.
once you buy that 3070 or whatever, it's already outdated by the 3080, by the 3090, by the 3090 Ti now. Thanks, Nvidia. By even fucking Intel are making graphics cards. Like the tech world and the gaming space and the gaming world moves so fast, it's almost impossible to catch up or to stay within the loop. That can be a crux for game development or a bonus for game development.
That was your point. That was your point. The phones are catching up.
Yeah, the phones are catching up. The fact that the phones are catching up and that they're basically there is nuts. The fact that I have a mini computer, which my phone is over there, of course. The fact that I have a mini computer in my hand, that's like the size of this bottle almost, like, or a little smaller, is ridiculous. Yeah, the fact that is a computer is insane, and the fact that it can play modern day games at a steady frame rate with pretty good visuals is nuts. And I don't think anybody should, just because like, oh, mobile games are just casual stuff. I mean, sure, a lot of them are, but the fact that they're starting to get into the AAA space or AA space even is it's revolutionary. It's revolutionary. And Deadhaus will be on mobile eventually, probably in some sort of form. I don't know. Like the fact that Deadhaus and other games are just hitting that space, probably at the right time, I think, too, is awesome. It's awesome.
That's going to be the thing. Like, people complain about mobile games. Like, if you don't like it, don't play it. But the vast majority of the gaming market right now is on mobile.
And
that's
handheld.
Where the vast majority is. And people can be like, oh, but they're not real games. Yeah, but other people like me would argue that if you just sit and play Call of Duty and FIFA all day, you're not a real gamer either. So It's where you want to put those goalposts, people. Be careful,
Yeah. The fact
everyone's looking to their left going, they're not a real gamer.
No, what's funny, I think what's funny the most is that portability has been a thing, that technology companies like strive for and have strived for since the beginning, right? When computers were the size of a server room and literally were just servers, people were like, eventually...
There's a meme of that. There's a meme of that. There's a dude standing somewhere in Chicago, and he's got a picture that he's holding up outside the building of where years ago they were bringing in some like Macintosh, this like old school, like massive computer that's like half the size of a truck. And they're bringing out, and there's a load of guys standing around, and he's like, oh, this is like 5 megabytes, of power. And that was amazing back then. It's this big building looking yoke, and the dude's taking a picture and he's holding up an SD card with like 256 gigs.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
I love it. I love that. I love that, people were crazy that like, oh man, this computer will one day be able to fit on a desk. And then laptops happened and people were like, oh man, portability on what? You can bring a computer with you anywhere you want. And then things just kept getting smaller and smaller until we got a phone. And I think that's why people forget, and they just credit phones because they see it as a casual gaming thing when it's really one of the most powerful things in your hand, in your
the greatest creations we've given humanity since flight, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And gaming can only go there. It can only get smaller and smaller and more portable and more compact and more stable and just more what's the word I'm looking for? Damn. Not revolutionary. Accessible. Thank you. More accessible. Which isn't a bad thing. People think accessibility is a bad thing. It's not. Being able to get up, would you rather, walk upstairs or take a ramp upstairs?
Exactly. The other part to that being, that's why I think Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah, Nintendo's
they're always light years ahead. People are like, oh, but their graphics card isn't up to power. It's like, really, the Wii. That's all I have to say to you. Oh, but that was stupid. Really?
The
Sold
Wii,
more than any other
the
console.
highest selling console in the past decade. Like,
I think the only thing better than it's the Game Boy, like the Game Boy.
yeah, they started with the Game Boy, and now we have the Switch, and the Switch is still the Switch has outsold the big consoles. It's outsold, Team Blue and Team Green. It's gone.
To get a Switch this Christmas as it was to get a PS5.
Oh yeah, and then they have the new OLED version, which looks amazing. I have a friend at work who got the new OLED Switch.
Stop!
Bro.
I'm trying to make sure I don't try to self-justify a reason to buy one.
Don't
I
buy
don't
one.
need it. I have a perfectly good Switch right there.
It's not like you can trade it in for half price.
I don't know how your GameStops work, but not here.
Wait, hold on. What? You can't trade it in for like half price at GameStop or something over there?
Oh, I doubt that. You go in there, I trade in my Switch into GameStop. I'd be lucky to get enough money for a Starbucks.
Oh my god. Oh, that hurts my soul. Ugh.
Oh, you guys have a far better retro market. That's one of the cooler things.
Definitely.
Yes, so you don't have it as great here. It's getting better. There's a lot of collectors investing in a lot of stuff, trying to open stores and all. COVID's kind of put a hamper on it, but people trying to do arcade machines, build machines, collect the old games and all like that. But I did see when I was in the States before that there's shops that are just mom and pop video game shops for ancient video game tech.
Oh yeah.
Which I highly encourage, by the way.
I used to go to one in New York called 8-Bit and Up. And all it sold was retro stuff. I think its the cutoff point was PlayStation 2 games. It wouldn't sell anything higher than PlayStation 2 games.
Dude, technically, that's an antique store.
I know, that's nuts. And I think obviously now with
once it's over 20 years old, it's legally an antique.
Yeah,
so.
That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul so much. I'm an antique. Oh, we're antiques, Mike.
Yep. Oh yeah. Feeling every day of it.
I feel it in my knees.
But on to that. So where do you fall on it? The original question. Do you have to beat a game in order for it to be your favorite?
I'm gonna curve the question by saying it depends on the type of game. If it is a single player story driven experience, I think finishing the game definitely helps in that it's my favorite game. And obviously, if the gameplay ramps up or it stays and it has a really good gameplay, there you go. If it's online, I don't think so because you can't really beat it. You know what? No. Okay, no. You don't have to finish a game for it to be your favorite game because the heart of games is gameplay. If the gameplay is fun enough and that's what makes it your favorite game and the story is just, the icing on the cake, there you go. Plenty of reason.
And that's the question to the audience. Want to hear in the comments? Can't find the comments? Go to YouTube, go anywhere. I will be posting this everywhere. Let us know. Do you need to finish a game for it to be your favorite, or is it okay just to play? If it's just to play, how much of it do you have to play to know that it was one of your favorite games? I'll give you a weird little spoiler. I got about an hour into The Witcher 3 and I knew it was one of my favorite games.
Meanwhile, I'm 80 hours in and I'm still finding it a struggle to play. But I'm 80 hours in. So what does that say about
hold on.
The Witcher?
You're 80 hours in.
I'm 80 hours in.
But where are you?
I am
because that's very subjective in The Witcher. You could spend 20 hours just running around Velen.
Oh yeah, no, I spent 20 hours just running around Velen. I am in Skellige now. And I am hunting a giant or something. I'm doing a side quest.
I'm actually at the exact same point as you on the Switch, but I'm not 20 hours in. Oh. Significantly less.
Yeah.
I have gone through it quite a few times, so I kind of know how to steamroll and skip my way through certain bits.
I think it took me 40 hours to get to gosh, what's the other what's after Novigrad?
Yeah.
It took me like 40 hours to get there and to do. There's like a murder. Spoilers, I guess. Minor spoilers. There's a side quest where you have to find out who a murderer is, and he's going around killing everybody, or something. It took me 40 hours to get to that point within the game.
There's multiple endings for that.
Oh, is there? I figured there's multiple endings for a bunch of stuff. I killed the bad guy and I figured out who it was, but I was wrong the first time, and then I restarted my save so I could be right the second time.
How are you wrong? Tell me. Walk me through. Walk me through the process. Don't worry about spoilers. Look, Witcher 3 spoilers. If you haven't finished the game, it's your own damn fault at this point. It's been out long enough.
Yep.
Go on.
6, 7 years old now. Okay, so I was looking for the murderer, and I was talking to the gravedigger, and I was like, "Oh,
this is the one with the coals in the eyes." And
yeah,
stuff, right?
it's surely got to be the gravedigger guy because he clearly seems like a bad guy. Turns out it wasn't, and everybody died.
How do you think it was the gravedigger guy? He's a bit like
Like I gave off bad guy vibes. I don't know, misdirection. It was a red herring. So turns out everybody died. I didn't save anyone. But I ended up killing who the murderer was. Turns out it was just a vampire. The excuse for the vampire was a pretty fucking good excuse, and I'm surprised. And it kind of pisses me off that like Geralt is supposed to be a monster hunter and supposed to understand how these creatures work. Like, you know, he's supposed to be an expert, but he couldn't figure out that this guy was a vampire. And he actually believed the excuse of the vampire of why he's not aging at all, and it's been 40 years or something ridiculous.
How come this other guy was your teacher? Isn't he like 40 years older than you?
Yeah, I don't know why my brain that didn't click with my brain. I was like, oh no way, is he the bad guy? But it didn't. Yeah, I fought him. I killed him.
I look at how his necklace wasn't jumping off.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing. Like his necklace is supposed to happen when magical creatures are around, right?
Magic,
magic. It didn't happen when the vampire was around. Why? It's a fucking vampire. It's supposed to happen. But yeah, so I'm like 40 hours into The Witcher, 80 hours now. I'm in Skellige. I'm hunting a giant. I killed.
Here's the question: when you went to Skellige and you attended the funeral, did you let her win?
No.
Or did you beat her in the race?
I beat her. I beat that bitch. I wanted the prize.
You let her win.
Let her win?
You're supposed to let her win.
Well, I have to restart another save now.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Play the hand you're dealt.
Yep. No, I'm not save scumming anymore. I did a werewolf mission. I just did a werewolf mission of find out and break the curse of this werewolf. Mukbang or something the name was. Morkvarg.
Wait, where was it?
In Skellige.
Oh, okay.
The werewolf mission in Skellige.
Because there's like 2 or 3 other.
Oh, there is. I did
Skellige.
one with Morkvarg, and he was cursed, and I didn't know how to beat him because I did something wrong apparently, and I was like, I got a thing, but I can't give it to him, so I just gave him a piece of his body, and then he died, and then everyone got mad at me for some reason because I destroyed the entire. Huh?
I thought you were talking about the guy that lost his wife.
Oh, I don't think I got there yet.
No. This is way back.
Oh, way back.
Before you go see the witches. There's a dude that lost his wife. You can go look for the wife for him, and the wife just vanished one evening, and him and the sister are still there with the kids.
Oh.
Turns out that he's a werewolf, and he didn't know. Anyway, it's a whole different. There's loads of those stories. Here's a weird one for you. Did you ever meet Letho?
Oh yeah, I failed the Letho mission. I let him live in my Witcher 2 save, and then I ported my other save, and then I failed that mission because Letho was like,
fail it?
Because Letho was like, hey, stay out of this. I don't want your help. And then I helped him out by killing these guys, and Letho was like, motherfucker, I told you to stay out of it. And now he has to go hiding or something. And
did you send him to Kaer Morhen?
I think I did. I can't remember. It's been so long.
You didn't fail it.
Oh, I didn't fail it because I could have sworn like if there's an outcome for this.
If you send him to Kaer Morhen, he might help you later.
Oh, okay, because I think I sent him to Kaer. I sent Kira Metz to Kaer Morhen, and I think I sent Letho.
Oh, that's going to be fun later.
I figured. I think I sent Letho too. I'm now looking for an ugly baby.
Oh,
I'm on the ugly baby quest.
Uma
is where I am. Yeah, I'm at Uma. I'm looking for an ugly baby. Ugly baby. Uma. That's where I am with Witcher 3. Yeah.
Great. That's why you're all gonna like Deadhaus. You like the stories, to those you'll like that.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about The Witcher, it's more like an interactive movie.
Yeah, it is. A lot of
because it's not a case of wait till I beat this monsters. No, I need to see what happens with this dude. Like what?
No, I have found that.
Where's this go? I need a closure on this anecdote.
I have found that that I have been doing all the side quests because I want to know what the narrative is going to be, and even though here's what gets me mad about The Witcher 3 is that when you level up, you lose experience points. Like if you're level 16 and you do a level 12 side mission, rather than getting like 50 experience points, you get like 1 or 2. I've done a couple of missions where I'm too high of a level for this side quest, so all they're giving me is like 1 experience point or 2 experience points, and it's purely for the narrative outcome of what happens in the side quest, which is a testament to how strong the writing is in The Witcher 3 and how
I
good the little side
completely
quests
ignore
are.
my leveling up stuff. It's just whenever it happens, I throw skill points into what I know I should be doing, but it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah. But
I've gone the other one. What I've been playing lately is, much to my sins, I never finished Bloodborne. So I've been dragging my butt through that. And that's actually partially what spurred the question. So I was saying, this is one of my favorite games. It's like, oh, but you've never finished it. But I know, I've played From Software games. I know how this goes.
Yeah,
I like this aesthetic more than Dark Souls. I love fantasy, but the gothic stuff, I'm like, yeah.
That's the only reason I want to play Bloodborne, is because of the gothic stuff. I'm not really into the Dark Souls games. They're not my jam.
So
but I really want to play Bloodborne.
It's so hard, but it's so good. It's easier than Dark Souls.
You know what I do? You know what my favorite From Software games are that I didn't know they were From Software games until I looked it up? Armored Core and Tenchu. Do you remember the Tenchu games, the ninja games?
Yeah, that's basically Proto Sekiro.
Yeah, I didn't know that was them. Because I love those games. Made by K2. They were K2 originally, and then they changed their name to From Software. So I grew up playing and loving those games.
Willing to buy a new Tenchu, please.
Yeah, please. Bring back another Tenchu, guys. It's not dead. Sekiro was basically a Tenchu game. Give us another Tenchu game, please. From Software, if you stumble across this. I am looking forward to. I do think I will pick up Elden Ring, though.
Oh, I'm getting Elden Ring.
I definitely think I'll buy Elden Ring.
I'm going through Bloodborne specifically to get into the style for Elden Ring, because I play these games. Dark Souls, a lot of the stuff's about blocking and parrying and stuff like that. No, I go with like Bloodborne. It's a case of, visceral attack, parry, like that's how I play. So getting back into the rhythm of that for Elden Ring, because I'm so looking forward to that. Weird level of disappointment for 2 years ago. The only 2 games coming out that I'm looking forward to are Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. We're 0 for 1.
Yep. I enjoyed the early access version of Cyberpunk, though.
Hold on. Can't really see it properly.
Oh, wow. Oh, you got the Xbox One version. That's cool.
I have this. I've never played this.
That's the Xbox One is the recent console, right? Or is it the Xbox S?
Yeah, no, it's the Xbox. That's the older console. I have a Series X, but what it is that they said they're going to bring out a next gen version, the way they're bringing out a next gen version for The Witcher, and I've been waiting because I got it, and life was busy. I didn't get a chance to play it at launch, and some friends of mine said, "Don't bother, wait until they patch it." And I've been waiting and waiting, and I asked a friend of mine recently, "Is it worth playing yet?" And he's like, "No, not yet. Give it another while." I'm like, "I've waited this long. I'll wait until it's fixed."
Yeah. I enjoyed the early access version of Cyberpunk 2077. Is
that what we're calling it?
Yep. The bugs that I experienced, like, here's the thing that I think is funny about games with a whole lot of bugs and glitches and just general issue, is that apart from them, staining the name of the game forever because fucking gamers, like generally when a game gets patched and it gets better and good, people forget all the buggy bullshit that happened within those games. Look at The Witcher 3, for example. When that game launched, it was a buggy fucking mess, but it still got high praise up the wazoo.
Roach on the house.
Yep.
It became a meme.
It became a meme, and people were okay with it. So what is the difference between Witcher 3 coming out and being a giant buggy mess, which with Roach on the roof and in houses, and that still happens, by the way. Roach is still not fixed. Roach will still occasionally spawn inside of a house when I call it.
I've whistled for Roach once, and he actually knocked over a pedestrian in a village. There's a woman walking over, and she just got knocked out of the way by the horse coming up. So I was like, why didn't I catch that on the street?
What's the difference between that and Cyberpunk 2077 coming out and being a giant buggy glitchy mess as well? I don't understand it. Like Skyrim, when Skyrim came out, there's videos
That's
are still
not
online.
Fair.
Skyrim
That's
was a giant
Bethesda
buggy
game. They're always a disgrace.
But Skyrim won Game of the Year before it was even released, and then when it was released, it's a buggy piece of shit. and it was broken as hell, and then people still think it's the greatest game of all time.
But here's what happened. You see, there's a weird setup with that. Like, there's some people that are like, they forget about it, and then there's other people that stay angry at it. Prime example, there's a lot of people I know will never touch No Man's Sky, even though now it is one of the best games ever made. Easily.
Yeah.
It is incredible. And they launched, and it was a buggy mess, but it was also, they didn't have everything in it they were supposed to have it, and all sorts of issues and all like that. But look at it now. Holy crap, it is the benchmark for crafting and survival games.
Yeah, No Man's Sky is definitely a redemption story of it's not even the same game. You can't even call launch day No Man's Sky compared to how No Man's Sky is now. It's not even the same game. It's a completely different game.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. I hope Cyberpunk gets kind of the same treatment. I don't think Cyberpunk will be a No Man's Sky redemption story, but I definitely think that when Cyberpunk gets like stable enough or fixed enough to where it's a Witcher 3 situation.
Cautiously optimistic. I would hope that it does better, but I don't have a lot of faith.
It will erase all the bad blood or whatever that is between CD Projekt Red and the entire world.
I don't know. I was willing to give them a pass. That's why I'm glad I got that, even though I haven't played it yet, because it's like, you gave me so many hours of joy with The Witcher 3. I'll give you a pass. Make it better. They're like, we messed up. Cool, make it better. I'll gladly wait. A lot of people didn't, but I'm willing to do that. And that's where we go with that. And bringing that back around to Deadhaus, as we were talking around with The Witcher.
Yeah.
That's the kind of story you're into, because if you like any of that type of depth for the story, for the characters and all, they've got the lore on the site.
Yeah, there's already a plethora of lore to dig through and to dive in. Plus community
Even if you're not the reading type, Alaric's Chronicles are also on Spotify.
Yes, I do recommend. I will always shill and recommend George Ledoux, the voice actor for the Chronicles of Alaric.
Have you been watching him on Instagram? He's been at a Magfest thing.
Yeah. That's he even did a Deadhaus Christmas.
That was awesome.
Thing. That was cool. Yeah.
Christmas greeting.
He did Christmas greeting.
And speaking of posts online, Calypso's now going to put it up on the screen when this is in editing.
Yep.
But we're going to be taking a look at a particular post from Deadhaus that was posted there called "How's Our Blood Looking?" which is a nice little preview of what y'all get to expect.
Yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks awesome. Now, once again, the O3D tech demo is available. It's on the Deadhaus forums and everything. You can find the link for it and download it, play it. Compared to how the demo looks now, as opposed to this.
Now keep in mind,
screenshot,
the one that's released, that's an O3DE tech demo.
Yeah.
What's going to be coming out soon is a Deadhaus Sonata demo.
Yes, I think it looks miles above. It looks miles above the tech demo. The blood looks amazing. You guys can vote on this. There will be. I'll drop a link down for the YouTube, everything like that, where you can vote on this. There's a little poll going on of how the blood looks.
I've seen the current poll standing in it, and I'm actually a little shocked.
Overwhelmingly positive.
How's our blood looking? So the options are something like that too much blood, just the right amount of blood, or more blood.
More blood. Always more blood.
More, but I'm going to be rolling vampire, so that should be kind of obvious.
No, one of my favorite things. Here's something to think about, Deadhaus guys and Legacy of Kain fans and stuff. If you guys liked Blood Omen and liked that spell where Kain just blows people up into showers of blood, or just rips their blood out of their body with like a spell or something, and all that massive blood. If you guys like the over amount of gore within Blood Omen, I think this poll would be something good to vote on. For more blood, obviously, is the right choice, and expect that within Deadhaus. So
it's the only correct answer.
Yes, it is really the only correct answer. I don't know why there are other answers, because more blood is always the best answer.
I just have to laugh because I keep thinking about people comparing when we were talking about graphics and online games and how things have progressed over the years. And there is a nice throwback to retro games. There's a lot of people have a bit more appreciation for those because games like Dead
I'm totally
Spells
in on
and things like that.
The boomer shooter renaissance that's happening right now.
Oh yeah, I need to try some of those that I've seen you put in. But looking at this, and there were people online who were complaining about the original concept when it was literally a concept video, a proof of concept.
That'll always be there.
Apocalypse wanted to go with, and then they take a look at this. Not only is it a major upgrade, but you take a look at that. Can you see that picture right now, Calypso? We'll have it on the screen anyway, edited in.
Yeah.
Can you see that right now on your computer?
Yes, it looks amazing.
Now, think about this for a moment. That's a free-to-play game.
Yes. That is like, I believe I talked about this before in one of my YouTube videos, my other ones. Free-to-play versus pay-to-win or something like that.
Yeah.
Once again, there is a stagnant haze hanging over the free-to-play space, because free-to-play this ties in with mobile gaming also. Free-to-play is for the casual. It's to burn money, to make as lot of money as possible for these companies. There's no real interest or I guess wallet protection for the gamer that is playing these free-to-play games, because they are cash grabs and they're monetized heavily and all this other stuff. But the free-to-play space isn't an evil thing. Just because certain companies have sort of abused the free-to-play space and tried to, make cash grabs out of all this stuff, doesn't mean that you should look down on the free-to-play space, because there are free-to-play games like Deadhaus coming out, like Warframe, for instance. I think
Guild Wars is essentially free-to-play.
Guild Wars. I think even some of the MMOs we were talking about. So a lot of MMOs now are just free to play MMOs now. Star Wars, the Star Wars: The Old Republic went free to play some years ago. That's still actually a really thriving community. I'm surprised, because there's an ethical way to do free to play. There's an ethical way to do free to play. Dennis has talked about this before in some streams and interviews and everything of how to do it. Like. And I think with visuals and just the free-to-play space, like, we don't have to worry about graphics anymore. Graphics are a thing of the past. Look at the Unreal Engine 5 stuff that's coming out, all the technology behind the Unreal Engine 5 stuff that's happening with the nanite, and just all the weird...
You don't even need to look at the most modern one. If you just look at what people can flex with when they use Unity or Frostbite.
Yeah, Unity, I know Unity gets a lot of shit because it's part of, the retro, like, Unity is free, it's cheap, and it's used for all this retro stuff, but a game is only, I believe graphically a game is only as good as the developers working on it.
Yeah. Like, take a look. As you said, Unity is used for a lot of the 2D stuff. Yeah. It's also used for Beat Saber.
Yes, it is. I'm surprised that Unity
looks incredible.
It looks insane. Like, graphics I think are a thing of the past. Like, before, graphics were a general comparison argument between this console and that console.
That was usually the benchmark of each generation, was graphics. But now it doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't even matter anymore. Like, a free to play game or not, visually a game will look good no matter what. Like, there is no skirting past that. I'm sorry everybody who disagrees with me, you are wrong. Visually games will always look good now. There is no, even if you purposely tried to make a game ugly, it won't look ugly. It might not have the most highest like texture resolution. It might be like blurry here and there, but it will not look ugly. It's not always 4K 60 FPS either.
Yeah. I do think the fact that 4K is just now a viable option to play for like a budget is funny. I know people argue with me that, you've been able to play 4K for like a decade. Not stably at 60 frames per second. Like, I've just discovered 4K myself. I think it's beautiful and amazing and glorious. It's not my preferred thing, but if I can play in 4K, I'll play in 4K. But you don't need to.
4K becomes mainstream when 4K TVs become what is common in most households.
Yeah.
That's what they say, but they're like, but we can have this for years. Early adopters, you guys don't count. You're beta testing stuff. I know, I'm the same. I'm the guy that runs out and buys the new technology. You are not the norm, though, when you do that. You are an early adopter. Yeah. It becomes the standard when, you've got a nice big 4K TV for like $200 in Walmart. That's when it becomes the standard.
Do you remember the 3D TV?
Oh God, yes.
failed revolution when Avatar and stuff like came out, and
everyone had to buy the TVs.
Yep.
Not only had the stuff, but you had to get the stupid cinema glasses for it. Not some of them you had to charge up. The ones I got to use used the same glasses that you plastic ones you get in the cinema. There was like different types of 3D.
Yeah, it was really weird. But that's something for another episode, I guess.
That, I think, has had its novelty. That should be strictly limited to like theme parks and cinemas and stuff. That doesn't need to be in the home. VR, on the other hand, this is something, again, we'll come on this on another episode because there's a full episode itself.
Yep.
VR, I think, is slowly creeping into not being the mainstream for game, but its own niche. It'll be a thing the same way as PC gaming or Switch gaming or whatever. I think VR gaming will be another thing.
I argue that VR is already here, and it is they have VR for all levels. VR is actually affordable now. Before it wasn't even close. Now VR is actually
you're talking to someone who has PSVR.
Affordable.
So.
Yep, VR is affordable because
he's going to bring it up again.
I have the cheapest VR headset you can possibly buy that's actually high quality for $100.
What's that?
The Oculus Go.
Is that the one where you put your phone in it?
Yes. No. No. They have that one, which is cheap. But then they have this one, which is just a monitor, a really cheap VR headset. It's only sit down. There's no moving or haptic feedback with the hands. It's just a little pointer. A lot of the games are sit down and like shoot games or whatever, really basic stuff for the casual players out there. I also would argue that it's really good for testing. Like, I don't get motion sickness, thank God, and I'm glad I kind of got this just to prove to myself I don't get motion sickness. But my mother and my sister get motion sickness no matter what they do.
That's a major problem.
For $100, $100 is nothing within VR and technology. That's nothing. You could order this, for $100, return it within like 2 weeks or whatever if you're okay with it, and then spend your money on the Oculus Quest 2 or something that's coming out, or spend all the really big bucks on HTC
or the new PSVR 2
if
you're the console 2 type person.
Insane. So yeah, I would argue that VR is actually affordable and not mainstream yet, but I think it will be mainstream within a couple of years.
It still has a few flaws to work out. One, the movement thing.
Yeah, the movement.
Not everyone has the ability to move. Two, you said that's only got shooter games. Funny you mentioned that. One of my favorite VR games is one where you just sit down and shoot. It's Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
Oh yeah, no,
that is incredible. I love that game. That and Skyrim VR. God damn you, Todd Howard, for making me buy that again. I played that until the back of my head hurt.
Yeah.
And my eyes, I'm fairly certain, caused damage. I played it that long. VR is not meant to be for a game that you sit down and play for 6 hours.
No, it's not. One of my favorite games on this little Oculus Go is they have a Suicide Squad game they released back when the first Suicide Squad came out. It's surprisingly really fun. You can you have a full 360 view and you just shoot, and like it's really it's pretty fun. Like, I would argue that VR is the next future in gaming. It's pretty affordable now, but I think when the price of an $800 VR headset drops down to like $300, then I think we'll really be in that VR's mainstream. It's for everybody. You don't need a $10,000 rig to be able to play VR anymore like you did a couple of years ago, or even now. Even now, you need a crazy expensive rig to really properly play VR. They even have I think Oculus is trying to focus on cloud VR gaming, where it's all hooked up to the cloud. That's where you don't need a big $10,000 rig because it's part of a cloud streaming service. And
as our internet progressively gets better, that will become a very viable option.
There's talk of like creating I know there's some companies working at CERN, the guys who actually run the internet, and other companies that are trying to make a decentralized internet,
Meta, or whatever they're calling it now.
Whatever. VR, I think, with this whole metaverse that's happening soon, will become mainstream. But anyways, getting off topic, we can talk about VR another time. But yeah, I think VR is happening, and it's happening now, and it'll really kick off in the next couple of years. But that's my opinion. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. These are all techs that, like, for early adoption and stuff like that. But yeah, it is becoming more like the fact that you can go to a store now and buy a VR headset for your PlayStation. Now, granted, it is still a little bit pricey, but it is there. Whereas years ago, it was not. And these are all something that I think will be a look at the way forward of how gaming goes. And I think with that, we're done, dude.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is definitely good something to round off our episode with. But so closing notes are I'm Calypso as well as Faceless Mike. You can find us all on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Links for all this will be down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on Spotify, thanks for listening. Again, follow Deadhaus. You can follow everything Deadhaus on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Join the Discord. I highly recommend it. The community is really nice and accepting. You can submit community stuff. I recommend checking out our community submitted
and you want
episodes.
You want to get to know people for being able to group up later on too.
Yeah, that too. Join our guild. And what is your favorite game? And do you need to finish that game or leave it unfinished for it to be your favorite game? You can leave that answer down below in the comments and everything as well. Expand upon that topic. Where do you think VR is going? Do you think VR is plausible right now? Do you think it's ridiculous right now? Like all of these things. Like, and what do you want to see in Deadhaus in the future? Like, what would you guys like in the future for Deadhaus? Would you like a VR Deadhaus maybe? Like a side companion thing? Would you like...
I'll be found in his chair, just like this with the headset on.
Yeah, would you like any... Yeah, like what would you guys like to see with Deadhaus in the future? What about like VR, all that kind of stuff? So I guess that's it for this episode. We will see you all in the next one. Fight the living, everybody. I am Calypso, Faceless Mike. And yeah, bye everyone.
See y'all. Fight the living.
Fight the living.